Hello, and welcome to Shadowface's dramatic reading of Blart of Darkness by Unkept Herald. In a mall in the town of West Orange, New Jersey, somewhere near New York, Paul Blart did a donut in his Segway because he's a mall cop and he can do that stuff. A few people approached him to ask him things like, where's the bathroom? Or how do you get to the Gap from here? Or where's the nearest fountain to here? Or help me, I got stabbed in the thigh and I'm bleeding really badly. Please call 911. But Paul wouldn't respond. All he did was circle around on the polished floor tiles and say, woo, woo, woo. Every single one of the people walked or limped off in disgust. Well, guess what? The guy who stabbed that other guy in the leg accidentally ran right in front of Paul's path, and Paul ran him over with his Segway. And while the man tried to get his bearings, the other mall cops ran him over and handcuffed the guy and brought him to the mall jail. All the mall cops patted Paul on the shoulder as they passed him, saying, "Good job, Paul," and things of that nature. Paul felt really happy that he helped catch the bad guy for a few minutes, and he happily headed over to the fountain to put his Segway into it to see what would happen. But he was caught right when he lifted up his Segway to throw it into the fountain, because the guy who got stabbed shouted, "There he is! There's the guy who wouldn't call 911 after I got stabbed." The mall cops ran over to Paul and handcuffed him and put him in mall jail. He was accused of failure to call 911 for a seriously injured person, and he was accused of dilly-dallying on the job. He was accused of plotting to throw his government-issued Segway into the fountain. The mall jury found him guilty, and the mall jury sentenced him to 58 seconds in mall jail. During his almost pointless 58-second mall jail, Paul met the stabber who was in the cell with him. "So why'd you stab that guy in the thigh back there?" Paul asked. "I didn't want to stab him. Sir Topham Hatt made me," the stabber said guiltily. You mean the head of Thomas and the tank engine railway? He's real?" Paul asked. "No," said Sir Topham Hatt. "I work for Ohm's Black Market Railway, where trains controlled by criminally unloaded things like counterfeit movies, video games, etc. and bone marrow that Sir Topham Hatt and his henchmen distribute on the black market," the stabber said. "Bone marrow?" Paul asked. "Yeah, human bone marrow. It's worth a lot on the black market, you know, or so I've heard," the stabber said. "So why did Sir Topham Hatt make you stab that guy?" "Oh, he wasn't any ordinary guy. He was the leader of a guerrilla organization that was organized to take down our black market," said the stabber. "Neato," said Paul. "Okay, Blart, time's up," the mall jail warden said, unlocking Paul's cell. Paul walked out of the cell. "Okay, can I have my Segway back?" Paul said. The jail warden slapped his hand onto his face. "Paul, do you even know the concept of consequences of your actions? You are not allowed to have your Segway back for 3 days." "Well, guess what, Norman?" Paul said, walking closer to the jail warden in a threatening manner. "My name's not Norman," the jail warden said. guess what? Paul Blart doesn't give a fart. Paul Blart whispered menacingly. You mean you don't give a fart that my name isn't Norman? The mall jail began. Paul Blart don't give a fart that I'm not allowed to have my Segway back for 3 days, Paul said. Well, whether you give a fart, you're still not allowed to have your Segway back, the mall jail warden said. I'm going to get that Segway back, one way or another. Where's my Segway? Paul asked. It's in the vent in the Bath and Body Works, the jail warden said. So without any further ado, Paul darted out of the mall jail and headed to Bath and Body Works to get that Segway. This concludes Shadowface's dramatic reading of Blart of Darkness, Chapter 1.